Since becoming a minimalist, I've never had more coffee and I have never built more wealth. Now the two have absolutely nothing to do with each other. However, as you get more into minimalism, you become a coffee addict. It's just how it works. But these tiny minimalist habits actually completely changed my finances. The 77% rule. Now, according to Thomas Cordley's research in Rich Habits, 67% of wealthy individuals watch TV for 1 hour or less every day, whereas 77% of people who struggle financially watch TV for more than 1 hour a day. Now, this is one of the first times I realized that wealthy people and a lot of fulfilled people and happy people create more than they consume. And the world is literally built to make you consume. But I kind of made this habit for myself where if I want to play an hour of video games or I want to watch an hour of TV, I have to create for at least an hour before that. Because it's very easy to get caught up in this trap of constantly consuming. You're consuming food, you're consuming media, you're consuming music, you're consuming TV shows, you're consuming just content, and you're never building anything. The most enjoyment, most fulfillment, and most of the wealth that gets generated on a large scale comes when you contribute to society, when you make other people's lives better, when you build things, when you create things. That is where wealth comes from. And most of the opposite, which is, your money going away, you getting depressed, all that type of stuff comes when you're just consuming. You're giving all your money away, you're giving all your attention away, you're giving all your time away, you're giving all your focus away. And that leads us into the one category rule. Now, when I first started decluttering my house, I kind of attacked everything at once. I tried to get rid of my digital clutter. I was going through all the house at once, and it just turned out to be a wreck at one point. We were like swimming in clothing. It was bad. But after years of learning about minimalism and simplifying my life, I have realized that it is best to pick one area of your house and attack that, and then move on to the next area and then the next area. So your whole house isn't a wreck. You don't get overwhelmed and freak out and decide it's just not worth it. And the same thing is true with wealth creation and also your finances. If your finances feel out of control and you need to get a hold of them, then don't try to do everything at once. Start off with one thing and have all of your focus and attention go on that one thing. Maybe it's creating a budget. Maybe it's going through all your subscriptions and getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Maybe it's starting and focusing on a business. I like to take 3-month blocks of time where I can focus all my energy and attention, but even one area of my finances, and make real progress for 3 months and then move to something else, as opposed to trying to do everything at once. So it's kind of applying the same rules of minimalism and decluttering, but to your finances, whether that's decluttering parts of your finances, organizing them, or even earning more. Trying to do all of them at the same time is most likely going to lead to burnout, and in like 3 weeks you're going to be exactly where you were before, just more stressed and thinking you can't make a change. And that leads me to being an intentional spender. Most people spend money on stuff because they want it, or it's on sale, or they got an ad for it. But minimalism has really taught me to be intentional, and really this whole idea of living a life by design and not by default. So just because I see something doesn't mean I have to do it. Everything I do is with intentionality. It's being like an intentionalist, if that's a word. Is that a word? So I kind of developed a habit to categorize all my expenses into 3 things. We have fundamentals, which is my essentials to be alive. We have fun, which is maybe travel, clothes, whatever it might be. And then we have my future. And my future, this is generally like investing. And when I just break it down into the simplest of forms, I can realize that okay, if 95% of my stuff is just going to the fundamentals, then either I have too many fundamentals or I don't have enough money coming in. So one of those two needs to change. It just makes it very simple. Or if I have a lot of going to fun and fundamentals and nothing's going to my future, then I know exactly where I need to make those shifts. So if you just categorize your budget into 3 simple things, it makes it very easy to realize okay, what's important to me, having a financial future and being stable and never having to go back to a 9-to-5, whatever it is. And therefore I'm willing to give up some of my fun category and optimize my fundamental category in order to build my future category, which has worked out well. And one of the best ways I have found to do that, which is to invest in very cheap things that make a big impact. For instance, the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. They have plans starting at just $10 a month billed annually. So for very, very cheap, you can learn something that can change the trajectory of your life. And for everybody who always asks me how to invest, investing into very cheap things that can make you better and have an impact literally for the next 20, 30, 50 years of your life, there's almost no better investment. You could put $100 in the stock market, it's not gonna change your life. You could spend $100 learning things and it could make you more money at your job. It could give you a business idea. It can make you happier. And that's why I love and I have partnered with Masterclass. If you don't know what Masterclass is, it is a membership to classes from the world's best. Like people you or me would never be able to talk to, who are at the absolute top of their game and are gonna break it down for you in like an hour or in 3 hours into actionable steps on how you can make your life better. They have a wide range of topics that they cover, from arts and entertainment to business, design and style, even sports and gaming. Again, all for just 10 bucks a month, billed annually. And the cool thing is they just keep adding new classes, and I've been absolutely loving them. And it's already helped me in my business. I've been watching these for months, actually. I've already watched things from the guy who wrote Atomic Habits, James Clear. I've watched different business and entrepreneur classes. And right now I'm learning from Kevin Hart about how to use humor to help your business, which is super, super cool. And it's something I've tried to add in more, and using my own personal stories, the positives and the negatives, to help my business. So if you're serious about bettering your life and your business and learning some new skills, so check out Masterclass right now. I can almost guarantee if you actually watch the stuff in there, you will not regret it. You can scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get 15% off. It's a no-brainer. The buy once rule. When I built an office or bought clothes, or yes, even bought coffee, believe it or not, I was so scared that was gonna go all over me. I'm not. It was always based on the cheapest thing, and that has cost me probably over $5,000 in the past 10 years. Just being cheap, I realize I'm an idiot. But I got to this point where I was like, I can no longer always go with the cheapest option. I hated coffee from other places, and yet that's what I drink every day, and now I like spend a little bit more on coffee. I bought laptops and fried them immediately editing videos because it was the cheapest laptop instead of something that would actually work for me. And now I just spend money and try to buy things once. I have a few hoodies that I wear all the time that are a little nicer. I don't have the cheapest one that I just never wear. When I buy furniture, try to buy something I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have this for the next 10, 20 years. I don't wanna have something that's gonna have for the next 2 years and it's gonna fall apart. So a lot of decisions that I make now is kind of this buy once, buy right. And that has led me into buying a lot less stuff because I'm very, very, very intentional with everything I buy. It's not just like, oh, this was on sale, I had to get something real quick. It was like, okay, I'm gonna spend a month or two thinking about this, researching it, making sure I get a good thing that's gonna last for a really long time. And over the long run, that's almost always the cheaper option, as opposed to just cycling through cheap junk. Tree thinking. Every roughly 90 days, I pull out one of these journals. Been using this thing for like 4 stinking years, just like a planner. And at the beginning of it, I write down an outcome goal. This is something specifically for my finances. This means if I want to save, let's say, $10,000 in the next 3 months, then I have a clear outcome goal of something that I want to achieve. And I am able to break that down, reverse engineer it, and give myself actionable steps to actually get there. As opposed to when I had no goals, I made very little progress because I was just doing stuff. I wasn't actually forming a think tree, which is pretty much like I have this main goal, and then below that, let's say you want to make $10,000. Okay, like, well, by week, I need to save this amount of money, and then that means by day, I need to make this much money. All right, how am I gonna make that much money this day? I'm gonna, start a business, or I'm gonna save, cut out different expenses or whatever. And you start with this main goal, and off on one side, you have all the ways you're gonna save money to get there. On the other side, you have all the ways you're gonna earn money in order to get there. And then you have action steps to actually achieve your goals. And it's not just randomly saying, I wanna save some money. How are you gonna do it? I don't know. I'd like to have more money though. It's fun to have money. So that's what I used to do. It didn't work. By the way, for everybody who's about to comment, these are Finishers journals. There's a discount code down below. I've been using these things for literally years, every single day. Huge help for me personally. You can just use a sheet of paper if you want to do that too. My unhealthy obsession. I realize, and I think it's time to admit, that I have an unhealthy obsession, but it's not the Kardashians, it's not reality TV, it's not drugs or alcohol, and it's not even coffee. Well, I guess some drugs. Regardless, my main obsession is on this shelf. It is learning about money and just leveling up. And I've had this more or less unhealthy obsession about money for, how old am I? 12 years now. And that has led me to reading over 100 different books on money, everything from building funnels, which if you don't know what a funnel is, congratulations, to how to work 4 hours a week, to thick books about Steve Jobs, and how to fortify my mind by my dear friend, David Goggins. If you're watching, you most likely have some type of obsession, and maybe it's eating, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's your relationship. I don't know what it is. But if you can shift that into a different obsession that improves your life and your finances, I think that is a great use of life. And as I've become more minimalist and I've been thinking about things that are important to me, one thing that's really important is being there for my family financially and never having to go back to a job. It's like one of my main goals in life is like, I left my day job at 24. I never want to have to think about having to think about going back to work. I'm literally drinking coffee, talking about my favorite stuff in the world. So anyways, I have had this obsession about learning everything that I can about money, because we literally trade parts of our lives. You know, you probably trade 8 hours of your day for X amount of money. So it literally represents a little piece of yourself. And I think that's something that is good to be obsessed about, to learn about, to master. And so while maybe I have taken it a little more extreme than most people, if you can take one unhealthy obsession, cut it out of your life, and add intentionally in another obsession that will improve your life, whether it be money, fitness, whatever it is, over a long period of time, your life will completely change. And if you're a minimalist, everything you do is very intentional. Everything is very thought out about where I want to be, what's important to me, does this add value to my life? Video games, reality TV, all that type of stuff doesn't really matter to me. Whereas what does matter is that freedom. So that's what I have channeled all that energy into. I think made me a little bit of a happier person because I focus on positive things and growth constantly over kind of like consuming, like we talked about. So channel your obsession. The yes trap. We are generally programmed to say yes. Especially growing up, it was rude to say no. If somebody asks for help, it's rude to say no. If somebody invites you to something, it's rude to say no. But if you do that enough times, you end up broke and have no time left in your life. And saying no is extremely important, especially saying no to things that are ongoing. So like if I say yes to a good thing, playing pickleball every Saturday morning, it's what I do. Well, that means that I am saying no to everything else I could be doing Saturday morning ongoing, unless I choose to not go to pickleball. And the same thing applies to spending money on something, saying yes to something on that, how you spend your time. When I realized that a yes isn't just a yes, it is also a no to literally everything else. When you're saying yes to watching this video, you're saying no to literally anything else that you could be doing. And I'm honestly super honored that you're even watching this far. Hope it's valuable. If it is, you can drop a like and subscribe. It super duper helps out the channel. On the road to 1 million subscribers. But for real, when you're saying yes to one thing, say no to something else. If you think about every decision that way, it's a game changer. Find your people. Most of the work that I do is me alone in my room with the kids playing outside. I don't know if you can hear that. And if you do anything like me, then you might realize that isolation is a real thing. And so over the first couple of years of doing what I do now, I just did it alone, by myself. Everything is just by myself. And when I started to branch out and meet other people and try to find people who bring me up, it really helped me earn a lot more, helped me focus, it improved my productivity. And it was just finding people who are in a better spot than me, who I can learn from, and surrounding myself with them. Going on, I now have like a mastermind call that I've been doing monthly for like a couple of years now with people who all make more money than me and are smarter than me and I can learn from. And that really gives me inspiration and it inspires me, helps me earn more, unlocks new ideas that I wouldn't have before. And it all just comes from finding your group of people that you can all rise up together with, as opposed to doing it on your own. So if you don't have positive influences in your life, for spending, for fitness, for productivity, and everybody you know isn't really trying, it's gonna be really hard for you to stay motivated for the long term. But if you find other people who are those kind of different people than everybody else, who are really driven, who are really trying to change their lives and better themselves, that's where you can kind of get dragged along with them and really help yourself succeed. Just stick with the boring approach when it comes to money. I've lost a decent amount of money on like meme coins, SHIB, Doge, things like that. I thought I was smarter than I was, and it turns out I'm not. And so many people try to outsmart everybody else. They try to do something different and unique. And while there are ways to do that, we can actually control it, like starting a business, real estate, stuff like that. When it comes to investing, if you're trying to individually pick stocks or coins or anything like that, most likely you're gonna lose. And that's when I realized that like the research shows that the simplest way is almost always the best in anything that you do, pretty much. But especially in investing. Investing in the S&P 500 low-cost index funds beats individuals picking stocks like all the time. And so that's why now I only invest in my business, real estate, Bitcoin, and pretty much like the S&P 500 and a few very select stocks that I truly understand. I'm actually really focused on balancing my portfolio right now and investing more into stocks. So if you want to see exactly what I'm investing in, you can check out Blossom. It's a completely free app. It's completely free, like social media for investors. It's actually like blowing up right now. I'll leave a link down below, totally free. And you can see exactly what I invest into in real time. But fair warning, it's not gonna be anything crazy. It's just gonna be what is proven mathematically to work. Live one behind. This is something that has more or less kept me from some lifestyle inflation. Now there's two ways to do this. One is like to live one pay raise behind. So let's say you earn $30,000 a year, you get a pay rise to $35,000 a year. If you can keep your living expenses, your lifestyle at that same $30,000 a year, that's how you are able to build wealth, start saving money, start investing, do all that type of stuff. But if every time you get a raise, you get a nicer house, you get a car, you get a newer clothes, you go on an extra vacation, then you end up staying at the same level. Like the stuff you have goes up a little bit, but the stuff doesn't really matter. So I've really tried to make decisions on what would 2 years ago me do in this situation. And if I wouldn't spend the money on that thing 2 years ago me, then I'm not gonna do it with me, even though I might be making more money now or whatever. If you always based your spending decisions on either a pay raise below you or a couple of years ago you when hopefully you were earning less money, it helps you never have to stress about money again because you're always staying behind lifestyle inflation. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Super duper helps out the channel. Also let me know what habits have improved your wealth down below.